Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and it's time to spill more Reali-Tea in another Reali-Tea retrospective. As always, this series will take a deep dive at some of the most popular shows that have finished here in 2024. We'll start with my spoiler-free review to give anyone who hasn't seen the show a taste of just what you're in for. Then we'll get into an episode-by-episode review of the most needed to be talked about moments. So let's get some discussion going in the comments below, y'all.
In today's recap, we fly across the Atlantic for the first all-international All-Stars edition for the Drag Race franchise in a season that truly elevates the show to legendary heights. Let me welcome you all to Drag Race España All-Stars.
The non-English speaking outliers being the Holland and the Thailand series that I watched back to back in 2021 or 2022 in an attempt to conquer every season of the show.
Now, to be entirely honest, I had no plans to initially cover this season on this channel from the jump. There are already so many shows currently airing at the moment that it makes it really difficult to devote yourself entirely to one, especially when it comes to the Drag Race franchise, as there is at least 15 plus countries with their own version with multiple seasons. So, to make myself sound like an uncultured American stereotype, I generally stick to the English-speaking editions such as US, UK, Canada, and Down Under, since they have made the easiest viewing experiences for me. And I'm not sure about all of you, but I have some ADHD characteristics that make watching things in subtitles slightly difficult, so it's easy for me to get distracted and lose track of what's happening. But I'm so happy I decided to break tradition and binge all three of Spain's Drag Race seasons, because it has all culminated in one of the most unexpectedly brilliant seasons of Drag Race that I've ever seen. And I'm truly surprised more people aren't talking about this. So let's discuss more in my spoiler-free review.
To this point, I think I've seen 40 plus seasons of this franchise, between the US mainline and All Stars series, UK versus the World, Canada versus the World, Down Under, and two English speaking seasons that are currently airing right now. With the only Now, I will be honest, I did stop after these two, but after seeing España All Stars in the works and getting a few personal recommendations to try it out, I quickly fell in love with the España franchise. While little changes as far as the format goes, it's nice to see the original All-Star rules return, with the top two lip-syncing for their legacy, and I also really appreciate that they firmly stick to a bottom two each episode instead of changing it up on a whim. While I'm sure there's some level of rigor or favoritism, as it's generally impossible to have a competition reality TV show without some production meddling, I do think this at least appears on the surface as a very fair competition, and there are even a few original twists here that keep the queens on their toes. So, since it's my favorite format of All Stars and we get some very well thought out challenges, I'm definitely giving this season's format an A. As far as the cast goes, my initial thought was España is having their All Stars very early. I mean, they've only had 3 seasons and maybe 30 queens, including their winners, so I was kind of questioning some of their selections. But I did just binge every season of España in preparation for the season. I think just before the third episode had officially released, so I will admit I have no idea what anyone's receptions are to these queens, and I was willing to go into this experience with an open mind, and wow, did they blow away every expectation from the first episode alone, and they would only continue to elevate their performances in each episode. In fact, I will put it down here that I think this group gives by far the best collective talent show I have ever seen, and the runaways this season are some of the most top tier that have graced the main stage. I definitely think this cast in particular proves how even early outs deserve a second chance if they've really had time to hone in on their craft and improvise. So I'm definitely giving this cast an A. I'm starting to realize as well that although the setup for each country is generally the same, it's fun to see how each country tries to make the format their own as far as the story and editing goes. Like here, the Spiny Girls have scripted workroom entrances each episode, which are really fun to watch. As far as there being like a season long narrative or anything along those lines, there's not really that much meat to get into here. This season is extremely short. It's only 6 episodes, which is definitely a criticism, but the fact that they keep each and every episode entertaining and there is a level of intrigue to most of them, it feels like they make the most of what they have here. I also think they do a great job of setting everything up, what's going on, so it's pretty easy to understand. You can really tell when the editors are excited because it shows in their end product, and this definitely is one of those seasons. So, despite its short length, I'm giving it a solid A minus. Gotta say, overall, Drag Race España All Stars could be my favorite Drag Race experience thus far in 2024, which is kind of crazy considering it aired just months following the glorious Canada's Drag Race Season 4 and is currently airing with Season 16 and UK versus the World 2. But it's still early, and I'm sure there will be at least another 12 seasons I have to watch by the end of this year, so we'll see how things stand in December. But as where we stand now, I do think we're looking at a show that could be very highly ranked, as I'm giving it Spain's first All Star season an A all around, and absolutely recommend it to anyone looking for a short afternoon binge session. So, now that you know what the show is and what my thoughts are on it, let's get into the real tea, y'all. If you haven't seen the show, I definitely suggest stopping here or use the chapter guide to go to specific episodes. So it's our season premiere. Let's meet our all-star queens, y'all. Starting out with Poopy Poison. From season 1, fourth place, she considers herself the Rosetta Stone of drag queens. She's been on every season of España's Drag Race and believes they are a new queen with new makeup and looks, but is an acting queen at heart. Next up, Drag Zephyrus from season 2, sixth place. The most famous drag queen in the Canary Islands, she likes to say. She is a look queen whose look has evolved even more since her season. Up next is Pinchadora from season 3, seventh place, the Spanish Hannah Montana. She considers herself the energy and the life of the party. She won a lot of challenges on her season, so she could afford more rhinestones. We have Jariji Durcleve from season 2, fifth place, and also the fan favorite, according to her resources at least. She discovered on Drag Race what her strengths were as an actress and campy over the topness, but with her style exuding womanliness, or the sensuality drag, as she likes to say. We have Paquita, also from season 3, seventh place. Her favorite challenges were the acting challenges, where they had to let loose, and she says she wants to let loose from the very start. We have Samantha Ballantyne's 10th place from season 2, the comedy queen and Miss Congeniality of the season. She's free from her hemorrhoids and she's ready to become the winner of All Stars. She says she has stronger looks and has more self confidence than ever before. From season 1, we have Sagittaria, the co runner up, the ditzy queen who bought a few more brain cells with her than with her season 1 winnings. And she says that she'll be wearing more elegant fashions, but still came into the workroom with her nip showing. She wants people to know her better since Camarfrella made it very clear during the finale she does not know who Sagittaria is. We love a good callback, y'all. We also have Onyx Unleashed from season 2, eighth place, considers herself the delusional queen. She believes that she was basic on her original season, but is ready to show her premium version, who has taken dance, voice, and acting lessons, believing she's ready for redemption, and reveals her new last name. Finally, Hornella Gongora from season 3, who tied for third and fourth place, considers herself the shooting star of season 3, who I think gives the best drag race entrance in recent history, just pretending to be stuck in the workroom from her last season. She says she's well behaved on season 3, but we'll see a guerrilla fighter out of her for the All Stars title. Once the 9 queens are in the workroom, they joke about how La Macarena is not there, which is kind of hilarious because she's basically España's Shangela since she came back from season 1 to compete again on season 3. Supreme Deluxe arrives on set and announces that all star rules are officially in effect, as the top 2 queens will lip sync for their legacy, €2,500, an all stars pin, and the right to eliminate one of the bottom 2 queens. La biblioteca está abierta as the queens are challenged to read each other in the first challenge of the season, and everybody has some really funny reads. I personally thought Jariji had the strongest reads, while everyone went pretty hard on Samantha's age and crunchiness. But Poopy Poison is given the win, which I guess I see it. Supreme then announces that they will be competing in their first maxi challenge, the talent show, where Barbara Ray, a legendary Spanish film, TV actress, and iconic sex symbol, would guest judge. While de-dragging, the queens discuss how the all-star rules will affect the competition going forward, since they do want to keep things friendly, but it's also noted that Season 2 has the most returnees at 4. While they don't want it to turn into Season 2 versus the rest, Onyx notes that she doesn't want to complicate the game, and will be saving her friends. Now the next morning we get our first of Spain's iconic workroom entrances. I just love how fun they are when they enter the workroom in the morning. This time the season 1 girls walk in first, followed by the season 2 girls, and then season 3. The girls discuss who they're surprised to see there, Pinchadora and Hornella basically shade Onyx, while Sagittaria thanks the season 3 queens were all brave for returning so quickly. They also discuss how difficult the talent show is, and how season 1's Poopy and Sagittaria may have an advantage since they previously didn't do one in their season, while the other queens may have to face comparisons from their past. It is time officially for the talent show, the Supreme Eleganza Ole Stars Extravaganza, and wow, does this show truly give. They left no crumbs, they ate everything on the table, gave back their seconds, and then ate some more. This possibly could be the best in the show's history as a collective. Onyx starts out telling the story of her evolution as she begins on stage with a large dress that is revealed to actually be her backup dancers. Paquita has a lip sync while performing corde laissé, an aerial rope circus acrobatic skill. I don't know if I said that right, but wow, did she do amazing. Poopy Poison does a live singing duet to The Prayer, playing both parts of Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. Sagittaria does a lip sync performance, starting with her suspended from the ceiling and ending with her being lifted into a split. Jiriji Dirclay does a live opera style performance to Henry Purcell's What Power Art Thou, where she goes from low octaves to high octaves, showing that range, baby girl. Samantha Ballantynes does a live comedy reenactment of her first enema, which is okay. Thanks for that, Samantha. Drax Sethless does an untucked lip sync involving aerial hoop acrobatics, where she falls into an even higher split than Sagittaria does and ends naked, which I think might be for the first time that we've seen penis on the main stage. I don't know if that's true, but she gets winner just for that. Ornella Gongora does a live singing performance where her and her dancers are getting ready for a bath. And Pinchadora does a spoken word comedy number where she acts like a DJ and uses the scratches as cuts to change the scenes. Now, when it gets to judging, Juriji Dirkly, Nikita, and Sagittaria are deemed safe, going to the back of the stage, while the rest of the 6 queens are given their judging. We learn our tops for the night are drag setlists, who the judges commend the high level performance, how technically correct it was, to the depth of the storyline, to the intricacy of the stunts. It was just amazing. Samantha Ballantyne's also thought it was very educational, but very funny, as they felt Samantha was very happy because she was in her element. And finally, Hornella Gongora, who gives a very classic performance, and the judges really praise her on her stage presence, saying she evoked something very nostalgic. Our bottoms are Poopy Poison, who the judges say were slightly confused by her decision to play both parts, and she did a twirl at her leg at the end, which probably wasn't smart. But she was the only queen to do a completely solo performance with no backup dancers, so they're taking that into consideration as well. Pink Chador is also in the bottom, as the judges liked the jokes, but didn't think the performance was very cohesive, since she tried to do so much in a very little period of time, and not every piece was successful. And finally, Onyx, while the judges appreciate what she did, they're not sure if Onyx's level of performance was just up to the same standards as everyone else, especially considering she really had no choreography at all, and everybody else was dancing up a mother tucking storm. When everything is revealed, Samantha Ballantyne's and Poopy Poison are deemed safe, while our first top 2 of the week is Drag Sethless and Hornella Gongora. Our bottom 2 of the week is Onyx Unleashed and Pink Tidora, and one of them will be our first eliminated queen from España All Stars. Onyx is seen as the worst of the night, but she also seems very respected amongst the group as a very hard worker that has evolved and should be given more time to show herself. During their private meeting, Onyx and Sethless have a tearful moment where Onyx is hoping Sethless wins to save herself, whereas Pink Chadora gets the feeling she could be seen as a threat, but we don't really get much from the top 2 girls other than they're struggling to make the decision. They get their first lip sync to Me Gusta Mucho by Rocio Durcal, and Hornella seems to be winning the lip sync, but towards the end, Sethless starts doing these push ups and then takes off her tuck, which feels like it throws Hornella off her game, and Sethless comes in for the kill. Sethless becomes the first queen in Espana history to receive a winner's badge, which she shows off in confessional before revealing her decision on who of the bottom 2 she has chosen to eliminate. And, as expected, Drag Sethless saves her season 2 sister Onyx and is Pinchadora, who is the first queen ever eliminated from Drag Race España All Stars. I have to admit, I was not seeing a Pinchadora first elimination when this first cast was initially announced, but seeing how everyone stepped up in the talent show and who won the lip sync, it all kind of makes sense. So 2 starts with the queens discussing the first elimination, as Sagittaria thinks that Sethless has made a smart decision keeping Onyx because she'll be an easy out later on. Ornella reveals she selected Onyx to go, but she expected it and knows she needs to step up her game this week. Supreme reveals they will be playing the Snatch game. Samantha never got to play in the Snatch game and is excited to play, while Onyx is having a moment because this is a challenge they got sent home on in their original season. Paquita was also in the bottom during this challenge in season 3, while there continues to be this running joke that Sagittarius is just an airhead, which, I mean, not sure she's denying it, but we're all concerned for her thinking quickly on her feet as well. So we get to the Snatch game, and we have Ornella Gongora as Jose Luis Moreno, a ventriloquist turned TV musical and theater producer and director. Greg Sethless as Alice Corbaja, a blogger and former house guest on Spain's Celebrity Big Brother 5, plays the Disney bits really well. And there's this hilarious moment where she opens up her brain and throws glitter everywhere, and she's really owning this performance. Paquita as Carmen de Morena, a singer and TV personality who came out as a trans woman in 1978. And there's this hilarious moment where she kisses guest Judge Yola with her giant lips. But that's about the most hilarious part, I think, of Paquita's performance. We have Sagittaria as Rosario Flores, a 2-time Latin Grammy Award winning singer and actress, to which I think she might be in character, but her jokes really aren't funny at all. We have Samantha Valentines as Raphael, recognized as one of the most successful Spanish singers in the world, and she does well. She actually makes everybody laugh pretty well, and you can kind of tell that Samantha is really in her element here. We have Poopy Poison as Chef Tamara Falco, a Spanish aristocrat, socialite, and TV personality known for winning MasterChef Celebrity España, and her ditziness is pretty funny up there with Sethless's, and she has some really fun moments. We have Jariji Dirklee as Aramis Fuster, a psychic and reality TV star. She's the most famous witch in Spain, and there's this moment where she shaves her head, which is like, wow, girl, the commitment. I didn't realize it was her real hair at first. I thought it was just a wig, and then it was her real hair. Okay, you go, bitch. The level of commitment these Spanish queens are going through here. And finally, we have Onyx Unleashed as Lorenzo Caprielli, Spanish dressmaker and clothing designer known for his temper, which we don't really get all that much from Onyx, unfortunately. The next morning, Onyx admits to getting lost, but Ornella also knows her Jose Luis was not great either. Sagittaria also feels like she messed up Snatch Game as well. Now, Doriji also has a moment in the workroom where she shares that at 18 years old, she had a moment of body dysmorphia following her coming out as trans, which culminated in her shaving her head, or mini Britney, as she said. But Doriji also gets into the pressures for those of the trans community to be cis passing, which makes you realize just how many struggles our trans brothers and sisters have to deal with on a regular basis, which is just very unfortunate. But I'm glad Doriji gets this moment to shed light on the topic, and it's a nice kind of full circle moment from earlier in Snatch Game where she shaved her head. Now on the runway this week is Redemption, where they are redoing a past look from another season. And we revealed here that safe will be Juriji and Paquita once again. Our tops for the week, Sethless, who redoes her Day of the Beast look from Season 2, Episode 2, gets a lot of positive critiques for doing a brilliant reenactment and has a look of pure opulence. Samantha Ballantyne's also in the top for her Day of the Beast look as well from Season 2, Episode 2. It's an amazing critique for everything completely under control, and the judges feeling like tonight she's truly redeemed. And finally, we have Poopy Poison, who does their From the Flea Market Design Challenge, aka Bathroom Fantasy Season 1, Episode 1 look, and is noted as the most natural and most comfortable in the Snatch Game, while guest judge Sylvia Abril gives Poopy amazing comments on her acting and comedy talents. Our bottoms our bottoms are Onyx Unleashed, doing their Spanish doll look from Season 2, Episode 5, while getting positive comments on the look, gets critiques for being far too restrained in her performance, and she was really missing having a lot of fun with it. Sagittaria, also in the bottom for Season 1, Episode 6's Night of a Thousand Rosalias look. They feel like maybe she didn't pick the right character because something was missing. Sagittaria breaks down because she knows she fucked it up and has been holding it in since Snatch Game, and it all just comes out for her on the main stage. Finally, Hornella, who is doing their cleaning service worker to Fairy Tale Princess Makeover Challenge from Season 3, Episode 9, gets critiques that her character was not really matching, nor were any of her jokes very funny. However, Hornella as well as Samantha are deemed safe, meaning here that Drag Sethless is once again in the top, but this week with Poopy Poison, and our bottom two is once again Honest Unleashed, this time next to Sagittaria. Now, Onyx is conflicted here because she feels like she got some okay critiques, but ultimately didn't redeem herself from her previous Snatch game and will take what comes. Sagittarius having a hard time processing being in the bottom for this challenge since it's bringing up bad memories from her past as well. Poopy lets Sagittaria know that she has a poker face and a wall that needs to be let down, and she's not doing a great job at selling herself for why she should stay. Sagittaria also feels like Sethless has already made her decision before talking to her, feeling like Sethless will send Sagittaria out if given a chance. Sethless is sad because she's not sure if Onyx has given up, because she just looks sad and just doesn't want her sister to stop thinking it's possible. Even though Seth later mentions that she feels playing favorites is not a fair way to play the season. Onyx has her meeting with Poopy, in which she notices that Poopy is struggling, seeming like she is leaning towards kicking out Onyx, so Onyx sells herself to Poopy way better than Sagittaria does, causing Poopy to question her decision as well. This leads to the second lip sync of the season, No Chintura by Vico. And I really like this song. It's pretty catchy. Sethless does their signature flips with a bit of a burlesque touch, while Poopy does a fun comedic performance, which leads all the way to her doing the splits. What? I didn't know she could do that. If you want my personal opinion, Sethless feels like she didn't want to go as hard, probably because, she didn't want to have to be responsible for her sister's elimination. So our winner turns out to be Poopy Poison, and she chooses to save Sagittaria, eliminating Onyx Unleashed from the game. Sad to see her have double back to back bottoms, and I kind of wish we would have had an opening episode or something prior to this because honestly, no one really deserved to be in the bottom for the talent show last episode. I'm happy for Onyx that she finally has been unleashed, and I have to say I would be much sadder in this moment if I didn't see Samantha's half ripped apart face there in the background. Now we start episode 3 returning from the last elimination, and Sethless is upset for not being able to do more to help Onyx in the competition. Ruby says she had to help Sagittarius stay in the competition for one more day, which is a good thing for Sagittarius that she did because we learned that Sethless had actually pulled her lipstick and not Onyx's. Side note, this kind of explains why I feel like Sethless didn't go as hard to win this lip sync, knowing the decision she'd have to make. And I'm not saying anything, but we can sip that tea later. Sagittarius says Sethless better continue to win because if Sagittarius is in the top and Sethless isn't, she's considering sending Sethless home. But considering Sethless has been in the top both episodes so far, I'm a little bit more worried about Sagittarius personally. Everyone realizes the eliminations thus far have just been along season lines, and everyone continues to wonder if these alliances will remain solid throughout the rest of the competition. After being led in the workroom in a guttural chant by Poopy, Queens read Onyx's message, hashtag Team Sethless, which Samantha agrees with because she's also hashtag Team Sethless. But Miss Shady Lady Sagittaria has other thoughts. Paquita decides to get involved in the drama, saying she was definitely sure Sethless would save Onyx, but wasn't sure Poopy would save Saggy, especially after some of the things Saggy said on Twitter before they came to her, and Poopy did not have a good relationship. Poopy and Saggy tried to explain themselves, but it leaves some of the girls feeling like Saggy is a little fake, and Poopy is just playing strategically. After explaining the first two looks of their upcoming ball will be Heaven and Hell, Supreme takes our sinners to the apple tree in the Garden of Eden to determine which of the 7 deadly sins they will have to reinterpret in their final look. In a surprise, Sethless actually says she doesn't know how to sew, which is like, ooh, I want to know now who makes your looks. A bunch of them have rotten apples, which they make them bite into. Poopy is eating the rotten apple and not knowing if it's good or not, and I'm just like, ew, girl. It comes down to Jarigi and Paquita, and Jarigi has the sweet apple and is named our Eve of Queens. So she gets to decide which of the sins she wants and gives out the rest of the looks. She decides to pick Sloth for herself, giving envy to Sethless, greed to Samantha, pride to Hornella, gluttony to Poopy, wrath to Paquita, and lust to Sagittaria. Because Sethless is selected as envy, she gets to select any of the other sins that she wants, selecting to take pride, giving envy to Hornella. Poopy is worried about her box initially because the decor is very childish, like looking party decorations, while it seems like Nikita is not sure exactly of how to interpret this challenge. Now this leads us all to the main stage where the queens reveal their looks and Hornella and Samantha are deemed safe. Our tops of the week, Jariji, who gets high praise for her Lee Bowery inspired club kid look. Meanwhile, her hell look was very dark and the light in her mouth was a really cool effect. Finally, her sloth look is just amazing. The way her hair is splayed on the pillow turns out to be really cool. Finally, Sethless gets extreme high praise for her second look, and the storytelling behind the thought processes of the look gets to the point where Judge Anna Locking comes to tears explaining it. She is just so into it. We love Sethless and we love these looks. Our bottoms of the week, Akita, who gets praise for the storyline of her first look's reveal, while the second look is very elaborate. However, the final look just doesn't feel like the outfit represents wrath. More so, her actions to rip off the flowers was the wrathful part. And I do understand what the judges are saying because she could have just made any outfit and ripped it off and been like, look, it's wrath. Finally, Poopy gets praised for a nice first look, but it was just nice, while her second look had some nice elements, but it does not look great combined together. And her gluttony look is cute, but it's just very basic at the end of the day compared to the rest of her competition. Sagittarius is also on the stage, but she's just deemed safe. And Drag Sethless and Doriji Dirkly are our winners for this week. Our bottom two, Paquita and Poopy Poison, now have to plead for their life to see who will be sent home. Sagittaria is not happy just being called safe for the judging, or that Sethless is in the top again, thinking the top three were Paquita, Doriji, and herself, and Saggy actually says it to everybody. Sethless defends herself, saying that despite not knowing how to sew, she has a very conceptual brain from which her talent stems from, and it's more than just looking pretty. Sagittarius is still not happy and does not agree that this game is fair because they are not on the same level. But Ornella wonders if Saggy should have been envied instead because that is sin that she's really showing right now. I'm kind of living for this Aja Valentina, your smile is beautiful shade here between Saggy and Sethless. Keep them coming. Now, the overwhelming feeling here is that while Paquita didn't do bad, she didn't shine either. While Poopy definitely did the worst, but has been so strong up till this point. This seems like the hardest elimination so far for everybody, and Sethless is really struggling to pick a lipstick prior to returning to the main stage. However, we get to our third lip sync to Lorando Porti, the HSP radio mix by KU Minerva. And oop, Seth, let's break his glass in the beginning. My only thought is, oh, I hope Jariji doesn't trick into it or something because she's sliding a lot on the floor and she's really close by it. Someone get that glass out of there immediately. It's honestly really close until Sethless picks up Jariji's pillow, puts it on her head, and starts running around the stage. Jariji chases Sethless, and Sethless drops into a split. It's like, okay, wow, Jariji, you are so sexy, but I just don't think you're a match for this right now. Also, why does Jariji always have like softcore sex on the floor during her lip syncs? I'm flashing back to her in Benita Don Bash in Fuego during season two. Um, wow. And with Saji's stank face watching over her, Sethless is given her second win of the season and must now decide which of the bottom two to eliminate, which she chooses Paquita to go home. It is unfortunate because Paquita was a lot of fun, but I feel like she had a hard time standing out in comparison to everyone else in this cast. And although Poopy did absolutely horrible, I definitely agree with the decision to keep her since she stood out in the prior challenges. Coming back into the workroom at the start of our next episode, Sour Sagittarius is still sucking her face, being all angry at the results, and openly says she would have put out Samantha or Seth before Paquita, which is like, girl, do you realize they're still here and can kick your ass out right now because they're both doing better than you? This starts a huge drama, and I'm loving every second of it. Meanwhile, this continues to be the season of the top two pulling different lipsticks because now Jariji has to explain to Poopy why she picked her name. I'm kind of laughing at her covering her ass by saying she knew she wasn't going to win, so it doesn't matter. Ha 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 ha! Roll her eyes. We love Jariji. She's so cute. Now, Hornella is officially the final remaining season 3 queen now that Paquita is gone, and her mirror message to Hornella is to fight, which she says she will because she has no commitments to anyone now, whereas Samantha is ready to get a badge of her own or steal one of Sethless's. Supreme reveals that they will be allowed to split themselves into two teams for the girl band's battle, and the girls of season 2 decide to work together, leaving Poopy, Sagittaria, and Hornella as the other group. Jarigi, Sethless, and Samantha want to do the pop number, so the others take the urban beat. Saji is all sorts of pissy still, and isn't really contributing or saying that much, while all three of Hornella, Poopy, and Saji are definitely feeling some type of way about the other girl group. Rigi, Samantha, and Sethless discuss the other group as well, and Samantha and Sethless definitely have words for Saji, feeling she's not handling the pressure of the show well, thinking maybe she had expectations of standing out that she's just not doing. After recording their lyrics, the teams head to the main stage where they are joined by dancer Carlos Segura, who will teach their choreo to another dancer for their performance. Poopy seems confident in this challenge, stepping up to do the choreo for the group, but Sagittaria is upset that her suggestions are falling on deaf ears, continuing our sad Saggy arc for this episode. However, Saggy's over being sad because the next morning she decides to apologize to the rest of the queens for her attitude. But it seems like absolutely everyone is over her at this point. Let's quickly recap the ways, by the way. 1. Saggy pissed off Sethless and Samantha by saying they should be in the bottom. 2. Poopy finds her immature and full of excuses. And 3. Even Hornella is sick of her. The season 2 girls discuss as to whether or not they believe her apology is real or if it is all just strategy to keep her in the game for one more round. Now it is revealed this week they will be judged basically in their groups, and it was revealed the bottom group is 3HC or Poopy, Hornella, and Sagittaria. On the main stage, the girls discuss the difficulty of working with Saji this week, and it kind of bleeds into her critiques as well for her being in her head during her performance and not shining up to her potential. Meanwhile, Hornella gets critiques for having some basic lyrics, and the judges kind of feel she was in her head too, as they feel her struggle was her overall worry that the group was going to do well. But the judges say the group was not very cohesive. The judges do, however, feel like Poopy was definitely the standard of their group, and they praise how gorgeous she is for her Goldie Hawn that becomes her inspired runaway. Now, our tops for this week are the season 2 girls, or the Overgirls as they're called here. Samantha gets critiques to start, and the judges are so impressed by her growth and her ability to infect anything she does with humor. Also, her look is really next level. Sethless gets overall positive critiques for doing well per usual, and Juriji's critique kind of steal the show with the way she was able to speed up and slow down her very sensual performance to match her lyrics. Plus, the opera moment was so impressive. As they're the strongest team, they're declared the winners of the girl group challenge, but we need a top 2 and a bottom 2. Sethless and Poopy are deemed safe, and our top 2 of the week is named Jariji Dirk Lee and Samantha Valentines. Our bottom 2, Hornella Gongora and Sagittaria, will be up for elimination. To which we flash to confessional where Sagittaria has basically given up and she steps up and even says this to the judges, which is like, why are you trying to quit before you're eliminated? I do kind of love the fact Supreme was just like, nah, we won't be doing that today. We're gonna go by the rules. kind of, we love Supreme here. Now we get back to the group, and Samantha is celebrating her first win, while Doriji is just in disbelief by so many positive comments. It's exciting to see them both doing well because they definitely deserve it. But when it comes to the pleas, Saji really is just trying to go home, while it is annoying kind of basically everybody. Sethless and Poopy make some good points that they feel like if she really wanted to leave, she should have just left at the beginning of the week instead of waiting to see if she could have won the challenge and to exact her revenge. Because now it seems very disingenuous. I won't lie, Sad Saji is kind of hilarious and it's kind of entertaining how much the other girls are scolding her for not wanting it. It does seem like Samantha kind of gets through to Saji at the last minute, but I can't imagine a world where Saji isn't the elimination pick from anyone in this room at this point. I'm pretty sure Supreme would have just sent her home at this point if she had the elimination power. Now, can we just LOL for a second when they go to pick lipsticks here? Samantha doesn't even try to struggle with her decision and just walks up, grabs the lipstick, and is done with her confessional. Love it. Now we get our fourth lipstick from Samantha and Juriji to Mafiosa by Nancy Peluso. And one thing I realized here is Juriji has a very signature sensuality. I love watching her, but I gotta be honest, she was giving me the same sexy humping the floor energy that she's been giving this whole time. So I gotta agree with the judges when they give Samantha the win. She was definitely the higher energy and surprised me a lot more with her performance here. So Samantha's redemption is officially complete, as she's officially the winner, getting her badge. And none of us are shocked here when she pulls out Saji's lipstick. We've been leading to this elimination for a while now, and this episode definitely felt like a long march to her inevitable death. Kind of sad because I do enjoy Sagittaria, but much like her first season, she definitely has some personality conflicts with the other girls that keep her in her head and makes her self-sabotage. But Saggy definitely was the drama, and I enjoyed her for making the majority of the season so enjoyable. Now we're at the final five, y'all, and we return to the workroom following Shady Saggy's elimination, and they're having a field day. I don't think I've seen anyone cackle this hard as these girls did when Poopy said that Saji was annoying, and she would have kicked her off too. um, I think everyone is gagged because they were season one sisters, but even Saji had pissed Poopy off enough to the point where she was just ready to see her go. And her mirror message saying hashtag Team Poopy Forever. Well, we'll see what Twitter has to say when she watches Poopy's reaction to this. Saji is so memeable. I will kind of actually miss her now, but good thing there's only a couple episodes left. Now, I'm also loving that 4 out of the final 5 are bald now. Clearly, it's great luck, so maybe we'll see a bald Hornella too. Who knows? Now it's revealed that our next maxi challenge is the roast, and this season's theme is inspired by the Hairdresser Salon, a place where Supreme said she loves to go to gossip under the curlers. Now, I've never had this experience since I'm actually a hashtag Team Baldy too, so we'll be getting the full experience today, y'all. We learned that they will be roasting the eliminated queens, and I'm like, yes, Shady Saggy will not be denied more drama. Please give it to her more. Poopy is initially intimidated because she did not do well in her season's roast. Sethless is definitely not confident with the comedy portion of the challenge either, and comes up with the idea to just go in alphabetical order that they all agree with. But after deciding the order, the queens realize that Sethless, who plays dumb, is actually very calculated with that brilliant idea of hers, because her full name is actually Drag Sethless, meaning she will now open the show rather than close it, with a set that would have to followed comedy queen Samantha, meaning the order now is Drag Sethless, Hornella, Jarigi, Poopy, and Samantha. They're given some coaching by Supreme and guest judge Ines Hernan, who is a lawyer, influencer, and TV host who is well known for her political presence in political affairs, while also known as a comedian, which, from my perspective, seems kind of amazing for Inez to have achievements in two very seemingly opposite worlds. Prior to the challenge, Poopy and Sethless discuss their shared anxiety about the upcoming challenge. Poopy is refusing to let this defeat her, as she's already in the same position once before, so this really shouldn't be phasing her again. Meanwhile, Sethless subtly reminds Poopy that she did save Poopy at a previous elimination, hoping that if Poopy does well, she remembers what Sethless has done for her. Now, it is revealed after the main stage in a very, very funny roast that our tops are Drag Sethless. She does a set where she compares everyone in the room to some sort of food, like saying Saji is a vegetable or Samantha is a dogfish. It turns out really funny actually, and she gets a lot of huge laughs from the judges. Plus, this runway look. Oh my god, this is top tier Sethless. Samantha Valentine's is also in the top with the most traditional take on the roast. She just goes in hard on all the girls, using her proven comedy timing to just slay as herself. She doesn't even need a character. Samantha's just naturally hilarious with her drink in her hand, reading everyone for filth. And she gets really high praise from the judges for her performance, as well as incorporating her comedy flawlessly into her runway looks. Now, all of our other girls end up in the bottom here, so we have Jariji, who decides to go for a French-inspired set, which is the most I can say for her point of view here, because it doesn't just seem very cohesive as the others. She is fine, and it's clear her jokes are just not getting the laughs like the other two sets were, and some of the setups are just very long. And I think the judges think perhaps the jokes were a little too smart for the stage. Ornella is also in the bottom as she takes on the character of Maria Nails, where she compares everyone in the room to some sort of manicure pedicure technique, like calling out the most basic nail set, the Kubi Poison, or saying the settlesses are small enough to fit up in your bum. The judges note it did take her a bit to get her confidence building, and Supreme gives her a note that she needs to have a little more expression in her natural speaking voice. Poopy also is in the bottom here, unfortunately, taking on the role of a worker at the salon, comparing everyone in the room to her annoying customers. And I thought she did really well, but the judges do read her a bit for reading her script so noticeably. Plus, I think she may have had the weakest runway look out of the five in comparison. So we learned this week if you were not in the top, then you were at risk for elimination. And Drag Sethless and Samantha Valentines are declared the winners of this week's challenge, are named the first two finalists of Drag Race España's All Stars, with Celsus being the first ever finalist from the Canary Islands, meaning Hornella, Jarigi, and Poopy are up for elimination.
But while they are deliberating, we learn the eliminated queens have a very important task to complete with the judges back on the main stage. Untucked, Jiriji immediately feels safe, being that both of her season 2 sisters are in the top this week. And truth be told, Jiriji also has the best track record between those that are currently up for elimination. So I think she's justifiably confident. I mean, Samantha and Sethless basically guarantee her safety, so it's absolutely between Hornella and Poopy as to who is going. Hornella is seen as an extremely hard worker, while Poopy is a legend, so there's a bit of a split. However, everyone knows something is coming with the twist just announced by Supremme, which does make pleading their cases more difficult since we know it's possible their decision may be made for them. And they're right to be nervous because the eliminated queens get the right to pardon one of the bottom three from elimination, subsequently giving them a spot in the finale, even if their lipstick is chosen. It's definitely a decision based on long season lines here, as Onyx wants Jiriji, while Paquita and Pinchadora wants to save their season 3 sister Hunella, believing that Jiriji is likely to be saved by either Samantha or Sethless, so Poopy is going to be sacrificed. Back on the main stage, we get our fifth lip sync between Sethless and Samantha to La Zarzamora by Lola Flores. And this is a hilarious moment where Sethless pulls out a picture of Sad Sadji when the singer talks about a girl crying all the time in the lyrics, and it's just Sethless is just not taking this very seriously at all, whereas Samantha is actually doing the opposite route and is giving a very dramatic performance, which is so funny to watch how they're dressed so oppositely here, and the way they're both performing the exact opposite way. Sethless does seem a little more restricted by her outfit compared to Samantha, though. But if you would have told me after watching season 2 that Samantha would be coming back and coming to get back to back wins into this finale, I would be gagged. This is a new Samantha, and she's really giving Sethless a run for her money here. We learn then when the lipstick has been pulled that Samantha has chosen to eliminate Poopy. However, we do learn that the eliminated queens have chosen her name, then she could be saved from elimination. We find out the eliminated queens have chosen to pardon Ornella Gongora, meaning sadly, our final season 1 queen is eliminated right before the season finale once again. But if we look at things in another life, she's been on every other season of the show, and Poopy's right, she'll be back again. She likely does not need this title to continue to be successful, but now only 4 remain in what is one of the most stacked finales I have ever seen. Who will have what it takes to be crowned Spain's first ever All-Star? Let's find out. Well, we will actually have to wait one more week because this episode is the reunion. Oh, it's a pretty light-hearted reunion here, as it feels like pretty much everyone respects each other, with a slight question mark next to Sanji's name. It feels geeky about the season alliances, and there's a fun segment where they submit questions anonymously into a box for the other queens. And the juiciest question is Saji getting asked if she made an alliance to sabotage Cecil's. Sabotage Sethless, which she reveals did happen in the episode in the eliminated girls jury vote segment, but there was nothing she could do since Sethless had already won the challenge. Another lolsy question comes from when Jiriji gets asked if she knew any of the lip sync songs at all, which might be some foreshadowing for the finale here, but I did mention previously, well, it feels like Jiriji's lip sync style stays the same regardless of what song she is doing, so, oop, edit getting called out. Speaking of, there's not too much other drama other than Saji and Sethless getting into it about Saji's attitude following the 7 Deadly Sins design challenge, and while they're both getting into it, it does feel like Saji is at least not bothered by it, but she's also such a brick wall stone poker face, so who really knows? Onyx's crowned Miss Lost look for having a really amazing angel-inspired redemption look, which was stunning, and it's nice to see Onyx getting some praise on the show. Samantha Valentine's is named Miss Congeniality, which makes me wonder if she's winning now because isn't Miss Congeniality always someone who doesn't win? Um so if she doesn't win, then this is literally a spoiler for the finale because you just built this bishop as the second best to Sethless. And I mean, obviously Sethless is my winner pick going into this finale, but production, decision, what is this? Choices, why are you showing this to us now? So confused. I mean, we'll find out, I guess, in a week. Fast forward if you're actually binging this, you might actually see this right now. But oof, this is a weird decision. Now the eliminated girls at the end choose who they think will be the winner. Pink Tadora picks Samantha Valentine's. Kita says her heart is with Hornella, but she also votes for Samantha. Saji votes for Jiriji, believing trans representation is important.
Onyx obviously votes for Sethless, and the final vote goes to Poopy, who agrees and also says Sethless. Now, to some degree here, Supreme sets up a Samantha versus Sethless face-off, saying the grand finale will be the ultimate tiebreaker between the two frontrunners, which, I mean, obvious based on the track record at this point, but still all sorts of self-spoiling. You're like, come on. Also, I know this image has nothing to do with anything for the last few rounds, but just enjoy this pit crew member. Spain has some of the hottest pit crew members, and they're literally just in one episode and never seen again. I mean, give this man a full-time job, okay? He might have kids or a cat to feed. So here we stand at the final episode, and it's the end. And we will have our first international all-star enter their franchise's Hall of Fame. So this is kind of big stakes if you consider it in that perspective. The judges all join the queens in the workroom prior to the finale, and it's really fun to see them interacting with each other. You can really tell there is so much respect from the judges for not only just this cast, but their queens in general. So when they decide they want to be a part of their opening number in full drag, it was just really cool to see. Also, the opening number was hilarious and everyone gets some great lines, really setting us up for what is going to be a lip sync smackdown between four amazing competitors. And they would rank collectively very high on a countdown where we rated our finalists. What's for ideas later? Now, y'all know the rules by now. Our final four are split into two lip sync matches, where the winners move on to face off against each other in one final lip sync for the crown. In our opening round, Luigi Derklay faces off against Samantha Valentine's to Hop by La Oreja de Van Gogh. And Jurigi does her sultry slowness, and I'm not really sure if it works to the song because it's pretty high energy, and that definitely works better for Samantha's style. Samantha does even a wig reveal, which is like, oh my god, she's bringing it. I don't think anybody is too surprised here, unfortunately, at least based off of this performance right now, that Samantha is declared the winner. But oh my god, I am so sad for Jiriji here. She is the most lovable out of all of these finalists, and it would have been amazing for her to take the crown for just that alone. And again, had you told me when the season started that we would have witnessed Jiriji losing at the hands of Samantha at a lip sync, I would have thought you lost your damn mind, okay? But Juriji does have a signature lip-sync style that is just really not suited to every single song, and it's clear this season that she is going to stick to that, and that is fine. We still love her regardless, but unfortunately, it will not crown her next drag superstar. So we were very glad she's able to make it to the finals this season, but this will sadly be as far as she will go for now. That means our second two queens will be showing down in our second round of the face-off with Drax Sethless versus Hornella Gongora to Yo No Soy Esa by Rosa Lopez. Now they both start out slow and they start to build into the reveals, both ripping off their clothes and revealing wig reveals, with Sethless even doing an added bonus of adding some glitter under hers. Sethless then starts doing her signature splits, including one off the side of the stage to end the lip sync. And this one is actually really close because Sethless, who gave probably the more entertaining lip sync that would work in most songs, Cornella is really feeling this song and has such an amazing energy about her that it's just captivating to watch. Even though she's not doing the same tricks and flips, Cornella wants it and she puts on a great show, and you can tell the judges are struggling with their decision, but they do make their ultimate decision as Drag Sethless being crowned the winner and our second grand finalist, who will be facing off against Samantha in the final two, which means unfortunately Ornella Gongora will be eliminated. And so sad to see. It's got to be rough coming so close twice in a row. And she really probably had the chance of being a finalist had maybe she gone against Samantha or even Jiriji, anybody other than Sethless. But I think the right person won this matchup as well. Kind of hilarious watching her shave her hair off later in confessional. So, yeah, Team Baldy makes up the same final five officially. So, as expected by their editing alone, we get to our showdown in the finale between the extravagant Canarian and the Queen of Comedy. The final lip sync will be Eloise by Tino Casal. And another reference here that I don't understand that Sethless is doing, but an over the top, hyper energy performance is just so amazing. Watch. She even decides to break the fourth wall by doing a splits off the judging table like What? Like, I don't even focus here on Samantha at all. I'm sorry to say this is Sethless's show, and it has been from the start. So, when the winner is officially revealed, it is announced that the first queen to ever enter the Spanish Hall of Fame, the winner of Drag Race España All Stars, is Drag Sethless. And wow, my hat's off to them. They did so well this season. A very deserved winner of a very, very strong cast. Sethless has really changed the game for me in so many aspects of this competition, from her intricately ornate runway looks to her overall athleticism and her performances. Sethless felt like they came here to change the game and set the bar, and it has been raised so high for me now, especially to the point where it's probably going to be something that Sethless just will eventually jump off into a splits to later. Like her talent show. Wow, wow, wow. I got to say, her performance was the reason when I saw it on YouTube, the reason why I started watching España and watched the season to begin with. So I'm very happy to see her take the first spot in the Hall of Fame and very happy, excited to actually watch an international season like this moving forward. So very excited to see what Drag Race España has moving forward. And did you enjoy the season as much as I did? Did you even watch it? Just let me know. Comment down below and let's get some discussion going. I'll keep the tea spilling. Anyways, y'all, until next time, this is Renegade signing off. Bye.